Hello and welcome everyone to another cast of the SSCAIT Babes, the competition which pits StarCraft bot authors against each other in a 1v1 tournament bracket setting. Today we will be covering round 3 of the winners bracket and round 2 of the losers bracket. Our first match will be TSC Mu against Antigua Irion, followed by Purple Wave Jadian against Krazio. So let's begin. First game is going to be with Tiasimu spawning as the orange Protoss at the top right of Jade against Babe Antigua spawning as the brown Protoss on the bottom left. Appreciate the shout out. So PvP on Jade. One thing to note about this map is because of the low ground main, the ramp going into the natural is going uphill. So that means that an aggressive play could be favored in this situation. There have been some shenanigan plays where you can go for something like a cannon contain, which is then possibly beat out by Reaver drops. So you have to be very focused on what is going on inside the main base of your opponent. We get to see the reverse ramp here now with an early pylon scout by Antigua. Maybe worried about some cheese, is going to go and check the middle of the map, see if there's any proxies being placed there at the time. No, there is not. It's going to give an economic advantage potentially to TSC Mu, who actually seems to have forgotten to place their pylon. They placed the 9 pylon there. Is actually going to add the gateway later than Antigua did in this case, and is actually scouting before the gateway themselves. So both players intent on scouting early. 2 gateways is the order for Babe Antigua. I think that this build honestly makes a lot of sense on this map because you can contain your opponent. The only difficulty is that you will be later to Dragoons. However, with early pressure, there is definitely the possibility that an early win could come out of this as well, depending on how the micro plays out. Going straight into the Cybernetics core is TSC Mu. So making a Zealot after the Cybernetics core is a little bit of a risky build. Normally you might want to go for Zealot, Cybernetics core, Zealot, just in case there is a 2-gate of some sort. And ooh, look at this, there's a pylon trap done by Antigua here. Although he seems like he helped the probe of TSC Mu escape there. It did force quite some idle time. There was some attacking of the probes going on earlier as well. 2 are damaged, but none are disabled yet. And this probe is actually still alive in here, still doing damage. And this first Zealot from TSC Mu came back to try to take down that pylon, but the pylon was intelligently cancelled by Antigua, and the first Zealot is now on the way from him going to TSC Mu's base. Still going to be 2-gate, but adding that gas now to catch up in tech, adding the Cybernetics core as well. It's going to come down to micro now. It looks like the Zealot from TSC Mu walked right past the Zealot from Antigua. Antigua might have wanted to keep that probe alive inside the middle of base because 2 hits from a Zealot and a probe take down an opposing probe. But because there was an injured probe, 1 probe already went down, 2 probes down, 3 probes down total with that last one, and the Zealot is now injured. Antigua can afford to lose this Zealot, considering the fact that he is going for that 2-gate, and more Zealots are going to be coming in now. Trying to jump over the mirror line, but failing to do so, is not going to get that last probe, but the damage is already done. Look at the probe count here. TSC Mu at 10 workers against the 18 of Antigua. Antigua's 2 next Zealots are coming in, but now there's a Zealot and Dragoon to help with the micro. Another Zealot on the way as well. It's actually going to be a 3-gate, very aggressive opening from Antigua here. And this engagement should go in favor of Antigua, just simply because of the fact that Dragoons are forced to micro back. It's going to be very demanding on TSC Mu. Nice pullback here, though. It is going to take down that first Zealot. Second Zealot is being injured. Probe is being pulled away as well. Probe is continuing to run away. Zealot is going to look for another victim. Is he going to get it? Yes, that probe pull was not ideal, but only 1 probe down, but unfortunately bringing all of his probes here to start mining the 1 mineral is going to slow down that mining efficiency even more. I would have liked to see TSC Mu pull some probes off of that off of the gas at this point, because he's floating way too much gas to be able to spend. Meanwhile, back at home, Antigua's economy is completely untouched, is getting the range upgrade, and is going for 3 Gateway Dragoons. Very strong build on this map, especially with such an economic lead going into the mid-game. Pylon bait at the front, possibly thinking of an expansion in case that next pressure is going to be held. But with greater production, I think that TSC Mu is in a bit of a rough spot. It looks like Antigua is not looking to press the issue just yet, knowing the fact that due to those early losses, he is at a unit's disadvantage at the moment, but that should soon switch with the arrival of the second Dragoon. 2 Dragoons, 1 Zealot against 2 Dragoons. Even fighting uphill, I think that Antigua is going to like his odds here. First few shots do go off for TSCMU. A little bit of hesitation from Antigua. TSCMU microing back nicely. Now has 3 Dragoons. I would have liked to see him maybe target down that first Zealot first. Because he is continuing to do quite a bit of damage, but he does manage to take down that Dragoon first, and that Zealot is going to get cleaned up eventually. Is trying to run away, is being body blocked by TSCMU. Very nice play here. And that Zealot is going to go down without doing too much damage, but 2 new Dragoons are arriving now, and it looks like TSCMU dropped the ball on Macro. Is going for 3 gateways of Dragoons himself, so there is a possibility of catching up. Only producing 1 at a time. It looks like he got supply blocked. Very unfortunate. But it keeps coming back to that economic difference. 26 probes against 14 is a hell of a huge difference, and Babe Antigua is going to go push that economic advantage even further by taking his natural nexus, and that supply block may be TSCMU's grave error in this game, given the fact that now there's going to be 6 Dragoons against 4, even pushing uphill. I would favor the 6 Dragoons. It's going to come down to the micro, not choosing to stop to take any shots while on the way up. I'm not sure I agree with that. 2 Dragoons are going to go down immediately, but 1 goes down from TSCMU as well. Another one going down. A little bit hard to see with the colors. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry about that. It looks like these 2 are belonging to TSCMU, and these 3 belong to Antigua. And now the numbers advantage has fully come in for Antigua. Antigua not rallying to the front though, and Macro has dropped for him as well. Looks like he was prioritizing the micro at this time, but he's going to reclaim control of that high ground position that we talked about earlier. It's going to be very powerful here, but behind this we see a Citadel of Adun. Not enough gas though, unfortunately, in order to power that. TSCMU did take the probe off, but did not put one back on in order to be able to fund that DT play hypothetically, or possibly it could be speed lots, but I'm assuming that the intention was to go for Dark Templar. Perhaps he thought that he had a firmer grip on the game with his 3 gateway production than he did, not aware of the fact that Antigua is on 3 gateways of his own. And now it is TSCMU who's trying to push up the ramp. He has 2 injured Dragoons in there, so it could be a little bit dicey for Antigua. The push is complete. Will we see Zealot speed in our near future? It doesn't seem to be the case yet. Looks like cannons are actually coming up for Antigua just in case. He was aware of the risk of skipping a robotics facility and just now adding a Citadel of Adun of his own, so possibly thinking of skipping Robo altogether to go into Dark Templar of his own. They will need Robo eventually in order to contest each other's Dark Templar, hypothetical eventual Dark Templar production. For now though, it looks like TSCMU is content to stay with a Forge and is again supply blocked. I think that's why this pylon was placed right now. But yeah, still a firm advantage for Antigua. 20 worker lead, now pumping from 2 Nexuses. It's going to be incredibly difficult to come back from. Possibly a Dark Templar drop could do some damage here. There's no cannons inside the main base of Antigua, something that you normally would like to see when you're skipping robotics. But the robotics is now being placed. There's not going to be enough time to get those Dark Templar inside the base. And yeah, it looks like TSCMU is in for a rough evening here of Brood War. Yeah, it looks like at TSCMU still probably banking on his production advantage, or possibly a little bit desperate to do some damage after the amount of damage that was done to him. There's 6 gateways now in the base for Antigua. Maybe, yeah, it looks like it's actually going to be Storm instead of Dark Templar, and I like this decision. The pylon being in front of the cannons is a risky situation for Antigua. He may suspect that Dark Templar are coming, and in fact the Templar archives are complete. Dark Templar are on the way. A pylon in the back is the right call here in order to repower these cannons here, and adding 2 more just for safekeeping going into that Templar as well. We expect to see the Observatory possibly coming up soon, and I like the fact that Antigua is going for that +1 attack as well. Actually, it looks like +1 from TSCMU is not far behind, so we have a game on our hands. I mean, TSCMU is still economically disadvantaged, but the Dark Templar are out now. They know that they won't be able to do much damage, and is actually going to go for a sneaky third base. This is one way for sure to get back into a game, although I think that Antigua may not give him the opportunity to breathe. He's going for a heavy gateway composition off of 2 bases, going up to a total of 8 gates with the speed lot upgrade, and with 4 or 5 Templar actually now, almost all of them with energy it seems. Actually, correction, all of them with energy, one of them with almost 2 storms, and this is an engagement that TSCMU unfortunately cannot afford to take. I think that this bust may be the undoing of TSCMU now finally, who has done a great job staying alive for so long, but ooh, the Dark Templar presence, he could have maybe sniped some Templar who are lagging behind the army, but the Observer is already out for Antigua. Antigua is well prepared for this match and is going to most likely knock down these doors pretty shortly. So let's take a look at how the engagement goes. The storms should be coming out around top of the Dragoons. They're kind of trapped behind these cannons, which is led to that storm being a really juicy one. I don't think it would have mattered all that much, but that kind of seals the deal even more. And it looks like he stormed his own zealots there, storming the probes at the very end of that as well. So first game goes to Antigua in this bracket tournament. APM kind of indicative of what we expected to see, potentially Antigua being the favorite, and indicative of the early interactions that we saw in that match. Now, moving into, wait, did I go to play custom again? I want load replay. Yes, I don't think there's actually a difference, but whatever. So let's go into game number 2 between Antigua and TSCMU. It is going to be on Tau Cross, and we have Antigua spawning at the left-hand base around 9 o'clock, 9:30ish, as the red Protoss, and TSCMU switching up the race. Looks like maybe TSCMU was playing random. I'm not quite sure what the race choices were. Possibly random, possibly chose Zerg after the struggles that they had with the excuse me, with Protoss versus Protoss play. It's very hard to beat someone who is mechanically superior to you in a mirror matchup, even in Protoss versus Protoss. And TSCMU going for a 9 pool. I like this option a lot, but no gas. That is a little bit surprising to me. I think that they could have opted to go for that. And it's actually going for an Overlord at 8, which is also quite strange. Normally what you can afford to do in terms of timing is you can go 9 pool, 8 gas, add 2 drones, then an Overlord, and you will still have enough time and money to go for the Zerglings. But looks like TSCMU has more economy in mind here, is going to go for that hatchery. But I think because of the lack of that drone, the extra lings are going to be a little bit late. Antigua is going for the 2 gate behind this. Maybe the mentality is, if TSCMU is indeed playing random, is that 2 gate is decent against both Protoss and Zerg, is a bit disfavored against Terran, but is capable of holding on if the Cybernetics core is added early, and I think that might be also the explanation for Antigua scouting early. So I'm guessing TSCMU went random. First Zealot is quite injured, is going to possibly be surprised to see this amount of Zerglings, and TSCMU is doing a great job of surrounding, but 2 supplementary Zealots are now out as well. And the Zerglings are going to go attempt for a run by. That's an interesting play. The next 2 Zealots, just one of them coming out now, is going to take a good position here, is going to try to stall and do some damage, but is not going to be able to. The Zealots decided to go for a counterattack, and I don't think there's going to be enough Zerglings here to stop it. Some probe drilling here did manage to take down most of the Zerglings here, and now the engagement is taking place over here, where the Zealots are indeed going to go down. The production from TSCMU is going to keep them alive here. The gas is up, but not being mined. Drone count is very low at 9 total at the moment. 3rd hatchery being added in the main base. Interesting choice. Normally you would probably see it maybe over here in order to help with some city, possibly over here. But yeah, now the Zealot count is climbing, which sort of forces TSCMU into an awkward position where they have to continue building Zerglings, at least enough Zerglings to stay alive, while they still see the fact that there is going to be a Stargate already up, and with a Sayer coming out, Citadel of Adun being added as well. So that puts even more pressure on TSCMU, because now they have to go either into Hydralisks or at a Spore Colony. I think the Hydralisk play would be preferred here. Gas is already being mined. It's actually... Where'd the gas go? Oh, it went to Zergling speed. Interesting. Maybe looking to do a counterattack. Maybe looking to bust with pure Zerglings. And just now the Evolution Chamber being thrown down. Late reaction from TSCMU, unfortunately, as both Overlords are going to get caught out here. There is one more down here. Might not be found quite yet. What I've noticed higher level players do is that they try to stay away from the edges of the map, because that seems to be the first place where Sayers are patrolling, as you can see on this side and on this side. Supply blocked is TSCMU. That is a terrible, painful place to be, as we saw in our last broadcast as well. So definitely going to be difficult. There is 1 Spore Colony at both bases. I think that's a little bit excessive, and again, it cut into the drone count, but the drone count has been rising. We're now up to 15 drones, but there are 26 for Antigua. 1 Dark Templar coming out now. An attentive TSCMU may have seen that. Zealots are going to be coming out in support. Do we have the Forge? Yes, we do. No spinning +1 quite yet. Templar Archives, of course, are up. More Dark Templar being made, and this is an interesting composition for PvZ. Zealot Dark Templar. It can definitely work against low numbers of Zerglings, but against Hydralisks and against eventual Overlord speed, the transition into High Templar would be preferable, and I'm surprised that Antigua so willingly invested that early gas, but perhaps banking on the fact that he will be able to use Sayer DT to remove any detection in the natural of TSU, but unfortunately there is that Spore Colony there. Zerglings now coming in to check what's going on. They're going to run into Zealots, who had a great concave there. Zealots should be able to hold this off barely, just in time for the cannons to finish, and now the Hydralisks are poking in, but unfortunately the Dark Templar has been giving chase. No Overlord speed yet, and this is a desperate attack from TSU, who's going to lose his whole army, and that is not where you want to be as a Zerg player. Definitely needs to get to that lair and speed tech, and the lair is now coming up. So again, similar story to the first game. We see severe economic disadvantage for TSCMU. Half the workers. Thankfully in ZVP, that is less of a big deal than it is in PvP, but unfortunately these Dark Templars still have no answer. I'm surprised that TSCMU is still trying to move around the base, move around the map, sorry, with his army, considering the fact that they have no detection. They're just, the Zerglings are just going down one by one. These DTs have killed so much already. 4 kills on this DT. Let me see if I can select them. 5 kills on this one, and 2 kills on this one. So these DTs have definitely paid for themselves, and now the Overlords are going down before they can make it to the natural base of Antigua here. So this Sayer DT opening has definitely been fruitful for TSU. Somehow got an Overlord all the way over here, by the way. Is possibly thinking about using it to pressure, but by now the Templar are already out, and it looks like Storm has been researched because I don't see it on the queue here. And it looks to be, again, a heavy 2-base macro build from Antigua. Going for 8 gateways off of 2 bases, a common strategy for PvZ, or at least it was common a couple of years ago. I'm not sure about right now. Third base is up for TSCMU. I'm not sure if it was absolutely necessary at this point. I mean, 27 drones is a more healthy number than what he was working with earlier. Is a bit low on the minerals right now. I would have been hoping to see maybe Lurker transition here to make use of that gas that he's floating. And actually, now that his resources are climbing up, there's a lot more. Late reaction from Antigua. They do have Storm. Storm does take out an Overlord, but good dodges from TSCMU there makes it out of the way. The army is starting to get scary from Antigua, and this Dragoon heavy composition is exactly what that 8-gate timing is all about. It's about busting down any forward defenses that the Zerg may have. The Zealots kind of body block for the Dragoons. The Storm is going to help with that as well. And this is going to be a scramble time situation for TSCMU. He needs to get enough army out in order to deal with this. There's only going to be 1 sunk at the third, no sunks at the natural. Definitely heavy pressure coming in as the worker count continues to climb for Antigua. 55 workers now, playing very well, and is possibly going to see this creep. Yes, indeed, is going to know that there's a base here, is going to rely on a 3-way flank. Is it TSCMU is going to need to dodge a lot of storms. There's a lot of Overlords here too. First storm is a meaty one, second storm is a meaty one, so is the third, and that's going to cover the majority of the army. That's going to leave almost nothing to face off against the rest of the forces from Antigua. And Antigua, I mean, granted, TSCMU did clean up most of this army, but unfortunately there's going to be a reinforcement of Dragoons here. Hydralisks should be able to handle this, though, so maybe Antigua overextended a little bit. It looks like the Hydralisks are coming out. +1 is done for both players, actually, and I like the choice to go for +1 range on the Hydralisks. Definitely more effective than going for Carapace in most interactions against Protoss units. Some Zerglings coming out to try to help as well, but I think it might be too little too late. It looks like Antigua's reinforcements came in just in the nick of time to continue this attack, and unfortunately TSCMU can't seem to muster the forces necessary. May have lost some Overlords there. It looks like it might have been supply blocked back when the army was larger, and Overlords are continuing to go down. TSCMU in big trouble, and yeah, there we go. That's the GG right there. And yeah, that takes us through the first match of the winners round. We see Antigua advancing to the winners semifinals. Let me see if I can bring that up again. Yep, so we got Antigua going through into the winners semifinals from round 3. And our next match is going to be Purple Wave Jadian, creator of Purple Wave against Krasio, obviously the creator of Krasio. So let's take a look. I'm going to make sure that I don't forget to put the game up. No, I keep doing that. I'm silly. Load replay. Alright, in our next match for the winners round 3, we're going to have Krasio against Purple Wave, as I said. First game is going to be on Tau Cross. Maybe the replays were placed out of order, or maybe I ordered them in the correct order. I'm sorry if that is the case. Purple Wave Human, interestingly enough, playing as Zerg. I wonder what they're talking about here. Interesting. Well, anyway, we have Krasio spawning at the top right of Tau Cross as the green Protoss, and we have Purple Wave Human spawning as the purple Zerg on the left-hand side. Interesting choice to go for Zerg, maybe, possibly, maybe, because Purple Wave usually plays with Protoss, as the AI does at least, with that heavy Dragoon composition, and that has become the mode. But apparently there have been some changes ahead of COG. The bot AI tournament, so it's going to be interesting to see here. Krasio going for a Forge Fast Expand here. Interesting approach, something that we haven't seen from Krasio before. Anyway, I was going to say maybe Purple Wave normally plays Protoss, but this time opted to go for Zerg because they don't like PvP and they prefer ZVP, which I think is a sensible approach. They went for a pool first into hatchery build, very similar to what we saw in the last game from TSC Mu. It is going to be 6 Zerglings yet again. 2 cannons up for Krasio, and that must be a soul read or just playing generally safe. It's a good reaction to 6 Zerglings off of a pool first build. The Overlord going down for Purple Wave, that gives Krasio kind of a boost, and Krasio is not going for a Nexus behind this. Color me shocked, we have not actually seen a true FFE from Krasio so far. Is going to go into that gateway, and most likely is going to go into that tech the tech option we've seen in previous games. 3 bases now for Purple Wave behind this, possibly utilizing the extra minerals that they built up while being supply blocked as a result of losing that first Overlord, and is actually near supply block yet again, adding their gas now as well. So it's not going to be any sort of gasless build. 6 Zerglings staying outside the natural of Krasio, and I'm curious to know if Purple Wave suspects that there is a natural, and actually now that I say it, there is a Nexus coming up, but it's coming up after the Zealot and Cybernetics Core, which is an interesting choice. It is going to lead to a much faster, much faster Sayer, and I was curious about what was happening here. Maybe thought that there was more Zerglings than there are. It's definitely going to be a loss of economy there, but should be noted that Krasio is ahead in workers, which is kind of to be expected, as I mentioned before. Looks like Purple Wave behind this is going for a 3-hatch Hydra build. That could be very, very strong against this, partially because of the fact that the Citadel and other ground techs are delayed for Krasio. In this situation, maybe you could go for a robotics facility, build a Reaver to help defend. But because of the fact that they opted to go for tech first, Nexus later, means that they're going to be later to that tech. Because of the fact that they don't have the income to support it, they would possibly need a second gas in order to do so. First Sayer is out, going to take out the first Overlord here. I would have maybe liked to see the first Sayer go out to somewhere around here and try to take off some Overlords before there is a reaction from Purple Wave. Only 2 cannons at the front is a little bit of a risky situation. I think that Purple Wave could consider busting this with a couple of extra Hydralisks. Only 1 gateway. No, actually, sorry, correction. 2 gateways now producing army to support. And actually, it looks like Purple Wave is going to go into 5-hatch, maybe. I see a 4th hatchery already down. 5th hatch may be delayed due to that supply block we saw earlier. Cannon's going to try to... Hydras are going to go try to bust in right now. Maybe it was waiting on the range upgrade, but actually, no. The Hydralisk range upgrade just finished. Wait, did he cancel and start it all over again? No, that's just a bug. Sorry about that. He's going to be able to bust here, and this is going to come before Templar attack, before... And actually, the Citadel was canceled. What the what? Oh, man, this is some crazy stuff here. So, first of all, I did not know that 6 Hydralisks will be able to beat 2 cannons even without range, but I guess it makes sense. Hydras are really good. Trying to pull the probes and the Dragoon now is Krasio to just try to stem this flow, but I think that once you lose your front, it's a little bit too little too late. And that would have been another advantage of sending the Sayer out to the main base first, just to confirm the tech and the Hydra count. Krasio would have known that he has to add a bunch of cannons to survive this, and a Protoss brother falls today at the hands of another Hydra bust. Nothing new here. Bisu knows all about this, and Krasio leaves the game, presumably after a GG. Going into the next game, we're going to see yet again Purple Wave against Krazio, but this time I'm guessing on Jade because I mixed up the order of the games last time. Looks like there might have been some lag here as well. That's why they were talking about earlier. Anyway, moving on to the next game, it is indeed going to be Jade. And we have Purple Wave spawning at the top left as the purple Protoss, and Krazio spawning at the top right as the white Protoss. Did I say purple Protoss? Purple Zerg at the top left and white Protoss at the top right. Krazio confirming that Jade is indeed the reverse ramp one. Possibly indicative of maybe a little bit of a lack of preparation, or maybe just getting mixed up on the maps. Pylon being placed forward again. I'm going to assume that it's not going to be a Forge Fast Expand again. Normally you would place your pylon maybe here, pylon, gateway, cannon, cannon, cannon. That would be the standard placement. Behind this, Purple Wave sending out an early drone scout. That's an interesting choice. I'm wondering, maybe concerned about proxy builds, or maybe hoping to get in before the cannons are up just to confirm the situation. It's actually going to be a gateway opening from Krazio. Very interesting. I'm curious to see if it's going to be a 2-gate opening. 13 probe. 10-13 gate is a little bit late, but excusable given the fact that he scouted early. It's actually no, it's going to be Gateway Forge. Very old and classic build for PvZ. Not commonly seen nowadays outside of maybe big game hunters. First Zealot is going to be out soon, and one advantage to this is that you're able to block your chokes quite early, although maybe it would have made sense to make the cannons first. Is going to make him safe against Zerglings, however, is going to be a risky position to be in against Hydralisks later on, especially with although actually now that I'm looking at it, the wall is not all that bad. The problem would be, of course, is the fact that the surface area is a little bit impacted by the presence of the forge where it is. You can't get a good surface area of cannons here to attack all the Hydras at once. Zergling is going to be able to sneak in and run in and check what the tech is. Is going to see a second gateway instead of a Nexus. That's going to be very useful knowledge for Purple Wave here. Purple Wave also taking the third base here as well at the same time, knowing that there's most likely not going to be that much pressure at the moment. Looks like it's trying to be annoying with that Zergling at the expense of his gas mining. That's not a good look. Definitely need to focus on that more. He already confirmed the cybernetics core, I believe, and there's not really much more that Krazio could be hiding at this point in the game. Maybe trying to stay alive just long enough to see what the tech choice is going to be, but that's what he also has the Overlord for. Is just going to park it here. I like this choice. He's going to be able to see what if and when a Nexus comes up, unless the Dragoon finds him. Citadel coming up now for Krazio. It's going to be one base tech yet again. Zealots coming forward to stop the scouting Zerglings out here, and is going to be 4 hatcheries again for Purple Wave. 4 hatch Hydra. It seems to be the play of the day for him. More gateways? No, Templar Archive now on the way, so this is a good way to react to Hydralisk openings, and unfortunately it looks like Krazio lost his scout before confirming the Hydralisk opening. It's a good way to react because Overlords, especially when it gets taken down by Dragoons, is not going to be able to grant vision against the Tar Templar. The problem is the timing. Will this be able to push through? There is a gap here. Zerglings could possibly run in and be annoying if they ran all the way into the main base, but there is a significant army presence now for Krazio. Looks like he's going for a 1 base tech all-in of some sort. The Dark Templar, again, are going to be able to defend because there's no Overlords. There's also no Overlord speed on the way because of the fact that there is no layer. Slight misclick here, it seems, for Purple Wave. Zergling is going to probe again to see what the range of the cannons is, maybe confirm their count. It's still only 1 cannon, and the drone production is going to be coming in for Purple Wave. Is going to take an economic lead in this game, and it's going to be possibly the correct call. I mean, given the fact that Krazio is investing so heavily into army, Purple Wave really only needs just enough army to be able to hold on against any aggression. And the army is starting to come out for Krazio. It's an interesting composition. 2 Dragoons, some Zealots, Dark Templar. Is going to be able to pick off some stuff. Picks off the probe there, picks off a Zealot, but numbers did fall down. The immense amount of production that Purple Wave has, as thanks to his 4 hatcheries, is going to be enough to hold this, provided that there is detection for the Dark Templar. Let's see how the engagement goes. Yeah, that is a significant number of stuff. That is definitely more stuff than what Krazio can handle with this composition. The Dark Templar is helping out, but the Hydralisks are already. It looks like they might be already range upgraded. I think, yeah, it looks like it. Are going to start running forward, trying to capture some of these Dragoons. A nice approach there, using their superior mobility to capture. And the DT actually led to the demise of that Dragoon. I'm not sure if Purple Wave was even aware that the Dark Templar was there quite yet. And again, a lack of cannons at the front for Krasio could spell disaster, but no, the Purple Wave does realize that the Dark Templar is there, is choosing to go back home, and is going to go into that lair now to get that Overlord speed, buying Krasio perhaps some much needed time. Storm is being followed up, but trying to fund it off of one gas is quite difficult. First Templar is out now. Perhaps the Nexus at this juncture would be quite useful given the fact that there's 800 minerals in the bank, and it looks like that is going to be what Krasio is going to do. Take that Nexus. Possibly, I mean, you could honestly justify rallying over here and taking a third base at this point almost, although the production from Purple Wave is something to be worried about, and the economy from Krasio is still behind, which is a place you don't want to be in a PvZ, so maybe actually smarter to just hold back and try to catch up on the economy, as we see Krasio doing so, throwing down 5 probes in the queue right away. Fourth base coming in for Purple Wave right here, as well as some macro hatcheries, trying to keep that money down, production going, and almost supply blocked. Maybe that is what led to the first surplus of resources. Looks like the layer just finished, and so will, and the Overlord speed is going to come in now. So, with this composition, could be able to withstand some pressure from Hydralisks and Zerglings, but definitely needs a higher High Templar count. The gas problem, the gas shortage, is a contributing factor here. +1 being researched, just started now, but with 300 gas in the bank, you should definitely be pumping 2 Templar at the moment. Maybe looking to go for, Reavers, interesting choice. I'm not sure how well that they would be able to function if they're going to hit on time. Speed is almost done. Speed is the one thing that's been keeping Purple Wave from knocking on the door of Krasio. Nexus is done, but no transfer as of yet. Looks like there is going to be, I mean, the production is pretty healthy from Krasio bot in terms of army count. He is keeping up in supply with Purple Wave, who has a much stronger economy. However, unit efficiency here is going to be the name of the game, and production is going to be even stronger now for Purple Wave going forward as these hatcheries have finished and this 4th base has completed as well. Double upgrades coming in the 2 evolution chambers for Hydralisks, and yeah, definitely need way more Templar than what we see on the field here. Looks like Templar just recently got started. Definitely need way more than what we're seeing here. Reaver is on the way though. Maybe would have liked to see Shuttle first, simply due to the fact that a Shuttle would have been able to transport the Reaver to the places where it needs to go. But it looks like they're going to be slow crawly Reavers, maybe hoping to bait the army to push at the front where the Reaver will be and then flank from the back, and that looks like to be the intention of Krasio. I like this decision. The question is whether or not Purple Wave is going to be wary of that. There was a Zergling up here earlier. Maybe it knows that there's some army presence here from Krasio if it did go down to that. Supply lead is still firmly in Purple Wave's favor and now is starting to skyrocket past Krasio, although he is at the moment supply blocked. I saw a bunch of Overlords. I thought that those were all new, so maybe I misjudged that myself. Large army of Hydralisks going to go straight for the 3rd base, where there's only half of the army from Krasio and no Reaver support. A Storm on the ramp could have been a juicy one, but no, he's actually going to storm his own Dark Templar here, and Purple Wave does a great dodge here. Not capable of dodging that one, really. There was too much of a chokehold there. Sending in the Zealots forward to try to stem this tide, but there's just way too many Dragoons here. Hydralisks here, and definitely not enough Templar. First Templar's out. That is a juicy storm. He's going to take down a lot of Hydras with that. But with only 2 Templar and with only 3 Storms available, this is going to be a difficult hold. Reaver is available here, but again, the cannon surface area is not the greatest. Could have maybe considered cannoning up here, actually, now that I think about it. And this Reaver is actually, I think, might be able to be ranged by Purple Wave from the up top. Both authors floating a lot of money, not being able to match their macro monster AIs. Definitely more gateways needed for Krasio at this juncture. Could add another Reaver, honestly, if he wants to, in order just to stay alive for a little bit longer. And in the meantime, Purple Wave has made some Hydralisks here, but she probably wanted to make drones instead. Now the pressure's coming into the front. Is Purple Wave confirms the presence of the Reavers, I presume, and sees the fact that there's cannons here as well. Is going to... Ooh, Dragoon doing Dragoon things. Trying to go back home, but is blocked off, so cannot do so. And gets picked off eventually by the upgraded Hydralisks here. +1 is in for Krasio, but no +2 on the way yet. Macro is consistent from the gateways that are here, and is actually going. Looks like to be going for triple upgrades here. I think I would have liked to see more High Templar here instead. Definitely more pylons and gateways in this area could have helped him with the hold as well instead of queuing for units, but that's the way it goes. This is beginner Brood War, and well, all right, beginners is too rough of a term. This is bot author Brood War. We're learning as we're playing, and that's all that matters. Generally, you want to have enough gateways so that you don't need to queue for units in them. In the meantime, Purple Wave seems to constantly be skirting the line of being supply blocked, even though, and has great production though, is pumping quite consistently from the hatcheries when he's not supply blocked, is taking that 5th base now as well, has 2-2, oh, I thought that was 2-2, what happened to the upgrade? Is it really that slow, or is it just bugged? I guess it really is that slow, I never really noticed. Yeah, this army is going to struggle big time against these Hydralisks. Reavers are trying to push forward, and now we see the Lurkers. Lurkers are going to be absolutely devastating. There's no observers out on the field despite the early robotics facility. All the production has been invested into going for Reavers, and this Reaver is going to go down. And now with no area of effect spells or units, I feel like Krasio is going to fall, and yeah, GG's were called. Krasio falls to Purple Wave. And that's all she wrote for the winner's bracket. So, the winner's bracket is done. We have Purple Wave advancing to the semifinals against Antigua. The semifinals are also going to be a best of 3. Wait. I don't want to lie. I'll find out. We'll find out next time. How about that? Well, maybe not next time, but we'll find out in the future. I think they're supposed to be best of 3, and the finals are best of 5. I'm running this tournament, and I should know that stuff, but I wrote it down, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're going to go into the losers round 2, and here we're going to see a best of 1 between Gatherers and Lines Prower, and the next game is going to be between Insanity Spreader, who is the creator of Insanity Bot, yes, and Gatherers, by the way, is the creator of Mad Mix bots. There's, I believe there's a Mad Mix P and a Mad Mix Z. I think there's Mad Mix T too. I'm not 100% sure. Sorry for not being as informed as I should be still. Oh, geez. But just the Mad Mix family of bots, let's say. And yeah, of course, Nightcat, Lines Prower, of course, the creator of Monster and Bereaver. Nightcat, creator of Nightcat, the Terran bot, and is a Terran player as well. So, without further ado, let us jump into the game. Oops. Ah, yes, the famous ASD, Gosu. Okay, so 3, losers round 2. First up is going to be Gatherers versus Lines Prower. And Gatherers is spawning at the bottom right of, I believe, Destination. Well, like 5 o'clock base of Destination as the yellow Zerg. Top left, we have Lines Prower spawning as the blue Zerg at the top left, who we saw playing 2-gate style for most of the previous rounds. I'm interested to see what is going to be the stylistic choice from Lines Prower here against Zerg. Is there going to be an attempt to go for Forge Fast Expand? Are we going to go into 2 gates yet again? Looks like we're going to go into a 9 pylon though. That is for sure slightly delayed. That's okay. We have the Overlord coming out at 9 for Gatherers as well. It's going to be interesting to see if we see a spawning pool. Looks like Lines Prower scouting early again. Maybe does not know where to go. Maybe, oh, I think what happened was they clicked the wrong place. And actually, no, I'm so sorry. This is not this is not Destination. I'm so ridiculous. This is Roadrunner. That's what it is. I'm so sorry about that. I was wondering. I'm looking at this. I'm like, I don't remember this being on Destination like that. Well, now we know for sure it is Roadrunner. I'm terribly sorry about that. The positions aren't really that like Destination would be here and here. It's one. All right, you know what? Chobo being Chobo stuff. Sorry about that. It is going to be 2 gates from Lines Prower, and it is going to be a spawning pool after hatchery for Gatherers into a gas. So another 2 base gas build, possibly considering. If I remember correctly, Gatherers went for a 2 hatch lurker build the other day. So maybe no. Yeah, I think maybe that's what we'll see here. So still Zealot production going off of 2 hatcheries here is going to start pushing into Gather's base. The hatchery is up, but Zerglings are going to come out, but is there going to be the sufficient control in micro? Second round of Zerglings is going to be late. One Zealot cannot take down 4 Zerglings. Not a single one lost, actually. It looks like it was retasked multiple times. And this Zealot has to be forced to run away to rejoin with its peers. 2 more Zealots are coming in here now. The engagement is going to be good. A lot of damage being done to this one Zealot, but a couple of Zerglings are not engaging. Can't fight piecemeal against this. Gathers fell by fighting piecemeal in our last week. No, sorry. It's this week anyway. So in one of the earlier broadcasts, we saw a Zerg fall due to the fact that they were using that they were using Zerglings piecemeal against the Zealots, and the fast layer is discovered. The 2 gateway Zealot pressure has arrived. It looks like there was some delay in macro because the Zerglings are going to be coming out 4 at a time and a little bit late. Drones are being pulled to engage. I would have maybe honestly just run away with the drones to the natural base and waited for the Zerglings to pop out to engage, because a lot of drones are falling here. Economy is significantly damaged. The drones are trying to run away desperately while the Zerglings are still not engaging. Sunken has been placed at the front. That's good. That's going to help defend. Zerglings are engaging at a little bit of an awkward position. It's kind of a forced choke here. Zealot is engaging with them almost 1 at a time, so might be able to actually survive this. Oh, very close is the Zealot. Drill is premeditatively made by Gatherers, but Gatherers, losing another drone. So crucial here. And not choosing to engage is not aware of just how low health there is on this Zealot. Oh my god, crucial gains here for Lines Per Hour. Lines Per Hour now up to 3 gateways of Zealots production and has added the gas as well as looks to be needing the cybernetics core to maybe go into higher tech. But yeah, the economic damage is already done. Lines Per Hour up to double the worker count of Gathers here. 3 Zealots, no, there's no way that 3 Zealots should be able to bust through this. A little bit ambitious, if you ask me. I don't suggest this engagement, and yeah, it looks like Lines Per Hour thinks the same way. And by the way, this is part of the reason why I thought this might be Destination. It has an aesthetic similarity to Roadrunner, but I'm going to stop making excuses for myself. I like this positioning from Lines Per Hour as long as he does not get baited into that sunken by any errant Zerglings. For example, if Zerglings try to come out and then see the Zealots and they're like, oh crap, I'm going to run back, the Zealots will give chase if the Zerglings get close enough. The lair has been up for quite some time. The gas is already spent. I would have liked to see maybe a Spire. A Spire could have possibly done the job here. Of course, he would have to survive that long to get there in the first place, but a Spire with 1 Mutalisk, looks like, I mean, Lines Per Hour doesn't even have any anti-air. He's going straight into +1 Zealots. No Cybernetics core still, interestingly enough. Looking to end this game with just the Zealots, and ooh, there we go. A little bit too close for comfort. A sunken colony from Gathers here gets denied by a lack of minerals. Is he going to recognize this? He does soon need that extra sunken colony. Yeah, and there we go. The 3rd sunken colony is going to be placed. 1 probe out here, I guess, just for scouting. 1 Zealot here hiding behind the generators. And Zealot production is soon to continue at Lines Per Hour's base as soon as he realizes that he is supply blocked. I guess I never really looked at it, but I like the way that this like kind of oozes. Because I guess I generally don't look at a remaster. We're always casting through open BW. But yeah, Gather's trying to get that drone count back up while at the same time being forced to spend it in the form of Sunkens. I'm quite surprised that the Overlords haven't taken a peek at the bases of Lines Per Hour, who's actually going for a Nexus instead of a Pylon to add to that supply. He's going for a Cybernetics core as well. +1 maybe is going to be the timing at which Lines Per Hour decides to engage here. 4th Sunken now on the way for Gatherers, perhaps sensing the danger and knowing how behind they are. It is instead going to be a Hydralisk Den, which means that Lurker is going to be the follow-up here, and I think that this is a good choice, especially against what they've seen to be is a very Zealot-heavy composition. Lines Per Hour is going to be adding cannons here as well, or at least hoping to do so. Not going to be able to do that with the Zerglings running around. Zerglings don't get a great surround at first, but do manage to pick off the remainder of the Zealots. Unfortunately, that also opens the door for Lines Per Hour to add more Zealots because he was supply blocked for so long. And actually, that falling of the pylon is going to supply block him heavily, but thankfully there was a pylon that just finished recently. Stargate behind this as well. Another pylon in the front is probably going to be used to support some cannons at the front against these Zerglings. Zerglings are chasing down some Zealots here. Zerglings are going to arrive too late to do any significant damage here. I think the Zealots are already in decent position with +1, cannons being formed behind it. And yeah, the Zergling is going to confirm the situation. Now Zerglings are going to be sent to the various bases to confirm locations of any potential expansions. There are none as of now. And behind this, Hydralisks are being produced. There's not enough gas, though, unfortunately, to get that lurker. Or maybe is it not going to be lurkers at all? Maybe that is the case. No, looks like more gas is needed for Gathers to go into the final form of his aggression here. Two Hydralisks did spot this Sayer and decided to stay back to maybe defend against any air pressure attacking the Overlords. Probes are being sent to the mineral line. It looks like Lion's Power is getting a better hold of their macro. Still needs to rally some of these gateways forward. Is getting the robotics facility, possibly in response to the Hydralisks. Is sensing the presence of future lurkers, which is a great call. Good read, good pickup. Hydralisks meet up with the Zerglings here. I still don't think that there's going to be quite enough here, and I don't think these Hydralisks are upgraded. There's two lurkers on the way, so if the cannons go down, this could be an interesting play right here. You could suicide all your Zerglings, all your Hydras, and focus on just taking down the cannons, and then run the lurkers in and control this whole area before observers are done. Robotics is just now finishing up. Observers are not anywhere near to being out at the moment. So two lurkers arriving now could be big damage for Lion's Power, but at the same time, Gatherers did get supply block. Looks like an Overlord was found by this Sayer down here. Ooh, nice little, I like that. So yeah, this bust definitely has potential in my eyes. Despite the +1 from the Zealots and the 3 cannons, there is a chance to do something here. It all depends on whether or not Gathers presses the gas button and how he does so. Lurkers are going to run in first. I'm not sure about that decision. They're within range of the cannons. The cannons can see them. But the lurkers are doing a great amount of damage to the Zealots before they both go down. Unfortunately, no, not going to be a possibility here. But I think that the Hydralisks could pick off the rest of this force that is chasing it down, though. It was quite a dangerous attack, as you could see here. A little bit of more of execution on either side could have swung it heavily. A little difference in execution on either side could have swung it heavily in Gather's favor there. But no, looks like Lion's Power is going to hold on to their advantage here. Adding a Citadel now, added the Observatory, adding observers to, and is likely to go and finish the job soon. Look at the economic difference now, 44 workers to 18. Drones are trying to leave, I think, but maybe it's because they're rallied. Adding a Sunken Colony out of Fear right now is Gathers, and Fear he should, given the forces that are advancing upon him. Dragoons being now added in response to the Lurkers. I like this choice. Drones now being actually transferred back to the main base for some reason. Maybe there was just a kind of a disbalance in the economy here. First evolution chamber on the way, nicely done. Lurkers burrow just ahead of an advance, and this Overlord is going to go down. There are 2 Sayers here. One Sayer does go down instead. Is the other Sayer going to survive? The Overlord does go down, though. And Lion's Power is at 90 supply at the moment. Is trying to engage against this army from Gathers is trying to engage with this army from Lion's Power. Lion's Power not ready yet to engage, and maybe not aware of this ramp back here, is just content to hold this position right here. Has scattered a little bit more with the Corsair as well, or perhaps is waiting for the Observer to come forward. I like the choice to add a Spore Colony. That definitely makes killing the Lurkers a lot more annoying. But the Lurkers, they're kind of going on the offensive here when I don't think that they should. They don't know if there's a Observer here yet or not. Looks like the hold position, though, is going to work against Lion's Power here. Observer finally makes it here. Looks like it is actually maybe even a speed upgraded Observer. I'm not sure because of the fact that we're sped up. But, ooh, a lot more Lurkers coming in. If the time is to attack, the time to attack is now. I'm losing my speaking skills here. And double expand from Lion's Power behind us, by the way. Interesting choice. Oh, sorry, I'm missing an engagement here. These Lurkers come from behind somehow? Holy, what? Maybe they just ran past and surrounded. That was a great move from Gatherers. Now, with no army is Lion's Power, and although the economic difference is still great, Gatherers is managing to climb back up into a decent economic position. I mean, Lion's Power is also not spending a lot of their money. Is adding cannons at these extra bases soon here, presume. Should go for more gateways and has almost mined out of the main base as well. So now this army is yet again fearsome, but more cannons are being thrown down using that monstrous bank from Lion's Power, and I don't think a bust is viable here this time either. Well, this time again, there just simply isn't enough stuff. The Sayers are great in number, though, and are continuing to be annoying, taking down some Overlords, it seems, here. Sares are going to continue trying to see if the engages come in. No, 2 lurkers go down. That is a heavy loss. Lurkers are going to go for a lurker contain, it seems, but unfortunately it's already too late. Alliance Powers has already expanded, but on the other hand, all these probes are now trapped in here for now. Looks like the addition of a robotics facility for Reavers is being made. Interesting choice as well. Reavers going to fare very well against Hydralisk lurker composition and any Zerglings that may be bait as well. Surprised not to see Gatherers go for a 3rd base quite yet. There is a lot of scouting on this side of the map though, and maybe Alliance Power thinking of taking yet another base here is adding probes for now, possibly well aware of the fact that lurkers may be outside of his natural base, not looking to transfer those probes from the main base quite yet. And cannons being added here as well. The Nexus is pumping probes here and here to try to get that economy kickstarted again. He does have the bank to afford it, and is now climbing up to a really respectable economic position, to be quite honest with you. Finally, Gatherers is considering expanding to that 3rd base now. Yes, there we no. Although he himself is starting to float quite a number of resources as well, possibly all of the supply blocks from the Sares factoring into that as well. I'd like to see Overlord speed to help maybe snipe some observers that are out here, if there are any. Looks like maybe, did a transfer happen? Yeah, one kill here. 1 Sare kill here. And a lot of Sares out, actually. There's quite a lot. Probes looks like they were transferred to the next. Oh no, he's using a shuttle to transfer them. Nice. Oh no, he's transferring the Reavers? What? Right on top of the Reavers? Is this going to be the Reach Reaver micro moment? Please. Oh no, it's Sare Reaver harassment. Nice. And this shuttle does have speed because it's keeping up with the Sares. This was a planned decision. Let's go take a look at what kind of damage it can do here. The entire army from Alliance Power is out of here. I'm sorry, from Gatherers is not here. What's the reaction going to be? First Reaver does go down. Second Reaver not going to get picked up. The shuttle is here. Is it going to get sniped? No, it looks like the focus is the Overlords now, and the shuttle is chasing with the Corsairs. Gatherers is struggling to rein these Overlords back in, and I mean, that was quite a significant number of damage. It was a sacrifice as well for Alliance Power, but Alliance Power, keep in mind, much healthier economically right now than Gatherers is. So possibly worth it, and does instill some panic in Gatherers, forces him to keep his forces more back, forced him to move some forces away from here, it seems, as well. Some lurkers are positioned here just to be defensive. Hatcheries on the high ground here as well, good for production. I would like to see more production from both players though at this time. I mean, we still only on 3 games, and ooh, we're going into carriers. Oh, and it looks like Gatherers sniffed out this base. Gatherers is going to take out this base. This is a great game. Shaping up to be a great game for sure. This base has a lot of stuff in it. I don't think it's even actually paid off for itself quite yet. There was a lot of investment into infrastructure, cannons, workers. I think that is basically breaking... No, I think he did get some value out of this base, to be honest with you. Killing this last probe would be useful, but I'm sure that Alliance Pro is not too worried about it. He has 9,000 in the bank and is going for the Zors, the carriers. Could be useful to get that +1 attack upgrade. It is getting that fleet beacon upgrade though. I don't think that Gatherers expects or has anything that he can utilize against carriers at the moment. Adding Defiler attack would definitely help, to use Plague and Dark Swarm in conjunction with Hydralisks for defense, but ultimately what you want to do is start adding some Scourge to start sniping them. The Corsair count was whittled down a little bit by the recent engagements. There's only 4 here. 5, sorry. Yeah, 5 Sares is not enough to hold off a Scourge when they're flying in to take out a carrier, but that depends on whether or not there are Scourge in the first place, and that +1 attack upgrade is coming in now. Very nicely done by Alliance Power for Stargate carrier production. Look at this expansion choice from Gatherers. I like this. Very heavily defended too, should be noted. The Sares catch wind of this though. They chase down some more Overlords, and Gatherers is supply blocked yet again. This is the struggle of Zerg against Sares. Getting supply blocked like this, and ooh, that's actually a lot of Overlords that are gonna go down here that Gatherers has lost track of. Gatherers looks like he's thinking about engaging here. There is a decent amount of cannons here. If he sends all of his army there now, he could take down this base, and it is the last mining base of Alliance Power. Alliance Power is going to have to operate off of Gaslow, and what did I say about killing that probe? Look at this. This is why we make sure we clear the entirety of the base. This base is most likely going to go down. And a lurker here, it did manage to get some pot shots off, but now the carriers are out. The Hydralisks, they do have +1 attack. Reaver, wait, why is it? Lurker is bugged? What is this? It just let the Reaver get through, but no, the carrier count is insufficient number. The interceptor count is insufficient. Oh, Doom Drop, are you serious? Yes! This game is now officially awesome. He's looking for a place to drop, and yes, oh my god, this is amazing. He's going to take down, if he takes down all the tech, all he has to do is actually take down just this pylon. No more carriers can be made. Take down the fleet beacon. Looks like the carriers are flying back home to try to engage. And there is no observer here to actually deny this now at this point. More observers are being made. There's no overlords to deny that. Oh my god, this is so much damage, but this could be the last ditch effort as well. Looks like the observer came out just in time to take down the rest of these lurkers. Observer, yeah. Oh, is he going to take down the pylon? No, he is not. Very close though, and the even though there was a lot of damage done, not a lot of the crucial infrastructure was taken down. And Gather's finding this expansion from Lion's Prowler again, even though Lion's Prowler did manage to hold on to this base ever so barely. Hello, sirs. I would like to expand in this area, and I have brought a mineral as an offering. And the Zerglings are like, we will consider your offer. But no, the carriers now have taken down the 4th base for Gathers. Both players are severely supply blocked. The difference is that Gathers has almost no bank, unfortunately, despite mining out of both of his bases as well. Is going for Ultralisks. What? A lot of Ultralisks. Oh my god, my eyes right now. If you had seen my eyes were just like I don't know, huge. Bleh. I opened them so wide. I wish he had used that gas. I was wondering where'd all that money go, and now we see. Is this going to be a base race? Please tell me this is a base race. There's too many interceptors, unfortunately. Oh my god, look at this Nexus placement. Lion's Prowler knew that there was something going on here. I would have liked to see maybe some carriers instead. I'm sorry, cannons instead. Oh, the Ultralisks are having a hard time engaging against the cannons. One Ultralisk already down. This is the last mining for Lion's Prowler. This is going to be a base race, but unfortunately Gathers doesn't have the money to stay in it for long enough, I think. Oh my goodness. He doesn't have enough money to take another base. He lost almost all of his drones here. He's down to 1 worker here, and I think like 29 workers here. This Nexus goes down. What a crazy game. Another drop? Really? To get around those cannons, I guess? Oh my god, this game. There is a Sayer, though, a Reaver. No Scarabs. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This game is the best thing I've seen in so long. Wow, what a game. More carriers coming out here too. Those carriers might be the defining situation here though. Because of the fact that they will be able to engage against the Ultras will not be able to engage back. Probes being transferred out and are dying to this Lurker too. The probes are desperately looking for a new home. The base race is on. Not enough money for a 3rd base yet. Observer has an eye on this. Hydralisks out here. Ultralisks trying desperately to take down the buildings before the carriers take down them. The Chitinous armor is only at 1, and that's one of the downfalls of going for range upgrades early on. The Ultras need their armor upgrades for the late game as well. And there's only 3 Ultras left now in the main base of Lion's Prowler. What a game. What a series. Oh my god. Yes, hidden base here from Gathers now. Taking this hidden base, hoping to stay alive in this. Has 1 Ultra remaining. Lion's Prowler has basically nothing. Is looking to take this Nexus position. Doesn't know where to go. It's apparently has a pylon here just to survive the base race. The last Hydralisks come in to try to engage against the carriers. What a game. I feel like both players are probably sweating bullets while playing this game, but I hope that they had as much fun playing it as I'm having watching it, because this is some stuff. This is all I can say. Gathers barely makes it, gets enough money to get his economy restarted again, and he calls the GG. He knows that he's out of it with this many carriers out, with this much bank. Lion's Prowler takes the W over Gathers. Jesus, what a game. That was awesome. Oh boy. Epic. Simply epic. That's all I can say about that game. Alright, well, we're going into the next game now. It's going to be Insanity Spreader versus Nightcat. If this ever opens, there we go. And this time I know for a fact it's on Roadrunner. We have Nightcat, my caster, co-caster, SSCAIT co-caster, Nightcat spawning at the 8 o'clock position on Roadrunner as the orange Terran against Insanity Spreader spawning as the blue Terran at the bottom right. So TVT on Roadrunner, if you recall from the last game, there are a lot of bridges, terrain features that could be utilized for contains and for how should I say, that prevent mobility in an adequate way. So possibly something along the lines of early dropship play or early Wraith transition could be in the cards, given the defensive nature of this map. Nightcat going for a depot in an interesting position, possibly trying to be wary of any drops later on in the game. Is positioning the barracks up towards the front of the ramp, as is Insanity Spreader. And I'm going to... Nightcat played a series of TVTs, first here and then in CPL. So we're going to, since I've been recently watching Nightcat's games in TVT CPL, it's going to be interesting to see how much he's progressed from these early stages. Insanity Spreader puts the 3 on gas right on time. Nightcat looks like he got his gas up a little bit earlier, is going to have that advantage for a little bit. Sneaky scout from Insanity Spreader is going to hide here. I would have loved to see a proxy factory later. Nope. Nightcat well aware of it, staying on his toes, does find that scouting SCV, does chase it out, and has added the factory as well. But the factory, interestingly enough, is ahead for Insanity Spreader. That's going to be a slight advantage going into the mid game. Insanity Spreader, on the other hand, though, has been supply blocked, though. Barracks lifting, I thought it might have been used for scouting purposes. Nope, it's just going to be additional Marines. Add-on into second factory. Good. Covering his Marine with the barracks, it seems. And I hope we're going to get an exciting TVT. TVT, famously known by people who don't understand the game as the most boring matchup, and that's usually based on the fact that there was tank lines that span half the map, neither player is wanting to engage anywhere because it's too costly, but it could also be an incredibly dynamic matchup, and with 2 facts on both sides, I think that is what we might see, especially with double spinning Vulture upgrades here. Nightcat is still to this day a proponent of the Vulture heavy TVT. That is definitely a valid opening. What you can do is you can run out here, you can lay a bunch of mines, delay their expansion, delay any aggressive options, but Insanity Spreader has ideas of his own, coming out with what is almost like an FD-like composition, but off of 2 factories. FD TVP. FD, of course, standing for Fake Double, which is Fake Double expanded, but the armies passing by each other. It looks like Insanity Spreader is going to recognize the situation first. The Siege Tank getting a lot of juicy hits on these Vultures and the Marines as well. The mines are being laid down, but they are going to get taken out. And wow, Nightcat is hurting after that early start. The mines are here, though. This one could do a lot of damage, depends on how it gets again. Nope, it gets picked off quite easily. That one does as well. Great coverage here from this army here. Moving shot from Insanity Spreader, very nice. Sieged up on the bridges. Oh my god, I can't believe he lived through that. Are you kidding me? The Vultures are trying to get in here to lay a mine, but no, they get taken down as well. Oh, but now finally the number of coverage is not great enough. Oh, loses everything, does Insanity Spreader here to those mines. The mines finally paying for themselves at the final hour. Insanity Spreader, a great play here to bring back forward the barracks, just to have the vision of that high ground. This would be a great place for Nightcat to position his own siege tanks, and that would limit the aggressive options from Insanity Spreader, but Insanity and Spreader seems to be content to take this position here. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think it might have been quite prudent to be over here, prevent anything coming out, because Nightcat can still kind of wrap around going up this north base up this way. Is going to continue with the Vulture production for now, loses 1. I would like to see more tanks added, and yeah, finally we see tanks being added here, and siege mode as well. Depots being thrown down at the bottom here. Could lose a lot to a drop here. First expansion of the day goes to Insanity Spreader here, with the +1 as well. Insanity Spreader, I think, clearly versed in this matchup at this point. First command center coming down for Nightcat as well. Not taking advantage of the opportunity to go around, but perhaps scared to leave his base given the size of the forces out front of his base here. Would have loved to see Insanity Spreader still try to inch forward and take more space here instead of just being content to over here. And look, yeah, there we go. We're starting to move forward a little bit. Siege Tank does spot the Siege Tank over here. Repairs are going to come in on it. Oh, but that shot, I think, missed. Oh, what a lucky situation for Nightcat. That tank barely held on thanks to the uphill-downhill interaction there. Splash damage did not hit that well, and they even range all the way out here. And yeah, now Insanity Spreader is going to have to take a thin line over on this arc, I think, and is going to bait some army to come in as well. Yeah, TVT is like chess, where the pieces explode in your hand, and that's what we're seeing here. A lot of exploding chess happening here. Mines, vultures, everything going down basically. So now we're playing contain game, and this is probably my favorite. Well, this is my approach to TVT. I like to contain. It just makes me feel comfortable inside. I know that their only option is either to bust out or to use drops. And in this case, it looks like neither is the option. Oh man, I love this move from Insanity Spreader. Take this high ground. This is actually, I think, going to be in range of these minerals, at least to some extent, where it could be if he brings it forward. Yeah, absolutely, it's definitely is in range. And that is going to be super duper annoying for Nightcat. Nightcat fortunate for the gas to be on the lower hand side though. Looks like the map creator well aware. And actually, oh my god, it actually ranges the command center. Are you serious? This barracks float from Insanity Spreader yielding so much benefits already. This siege tank is going to go down because of that aforementioned uphill-downhill interaction, but these two siege tanks might be able to take it out. Yes, indeed. Now Insanity Spreader has to think about how he wants to engage with this. Tries to lay mines. Oh, but no, not lucky enough. There are vultures present here as well to deny any juicy explosions from happening. Behind this, Nightcat does have the economic lead despite having the later expansion, but is also floating a lot more resources as well. Insanity Spreader already has that +1 really early and is adding that starport and that science facility to get that +2 rolling. +2, of course, incredibly important in TVT because, as we saw earlier, a siege tank takes 3 shots to kill an enemy siege tank, but with +2 upgrades, it only takes 2 shots. And just to clarify, it is when it's in sieged up mode. So yeah, Insanity Spreader is still maintaining his stranglehold on the economically ahead player at this point, using these 2 buildings to grant extra vision. Again, for those of you that don't know, siege tanks can actually shoot farther than they can see, and these 2 buildings give extra vision to Insanity Spreader into the location of Nightcat to see what exactly is going on, and also to shoot at the maximum range for the siege tanks. Ooh, and behind this there was a drop that I missed. I'm so sorry about that. Looks like mines were actually laid by Insanity Spreader, I think. Yeah, those are Insanity Spreader's mines there in case a siege tank comes in to try to engage. Vultures don't trigger mines because technically they're like floating, I guess, or something. But yeah, Nightcat has a supply lead beyond the economic lead as well. Unfortunately, only 1 SCV on the second gas right now, though, whereas Insanity Spreader has 3, but it looks like a 4 SCV gas, or like a 3.5 SCV gas. I'm surprised that still no attempts to retake this high ground, but it looks like he is working his way over there. This is a great concave to have for Insanity Spreader. I think that Nightcat needs to start doing drops of his own, and that is what we're going into right now. Has scanned his own main base to take out some of the mines to prevent any future shenanigans from happening. Is +2 on the way for? Yes, it is indeed. Wraith transition now for Insanity Spreader. It's like I wrote this. I knew. It feels good when you it feels like you know what you're talking about just based on the fact that I called that this would be a high mobility, a map that encourages high mobility options like drops. Nice turret coverage here. Adding a 3rd base is Insanity Spreader as well. Having extra gases in TVT is so huge. All of your key units like Wraiths, dropships, siege tanks, Goliaths, they all cost a lot of gas. So having more gases, more production. Only 3 factories though for Insanity Spreader at the moment. 5 already up for Nightcat, who is trying to build up a significant enough force to move in. And it looks like use dropships to move in from the high ground. This is really nice stuff. I'm sorry. It's kind of unfortunate that I missed this. If I wish I was on OpenBW so I could rewind a lot easier. But the bust attempt does go awry in the end, and the rallied units also are incapable of finishing the job, it seems. And yeah, it looks like Insanity Spreader got the best of that interaction. It's so costly to try to bust these positions, and it looks like Nightcat didn't bring enough SCVs and lower cost units like Vultures into the mix in order to take that position. So running out of the main minerals now is Nightcat is going to be desperately clinging on to 1 base, and more drops were attempted here by Insanity Spreader, and he's going to continue holding on to this position. Siege tank hiding under the barracks. And yeah, units keep being traded, but I have to favor Insanity Spreader now. I mean, he himself is losing a lot of minerals in the main base. And also, I forgot to mention this, but Nightcat did scan the Wraiths earlier. So maybe that is the explanation for why there's additional turrets being placed here. Additional turrets being placed here as well, not to mention the drops that were out here earlier. Good coverage from Insanity Spreader, keeping tabs on the other expansions that are on Nightcat's side of the map. And yeah, Nightcat's definitely feeling the danger now. It looks like he got baited into this engagement. I don't think that was intentional. And now Wraiths are going to be super annoying. There's no Goliaths out on the map. Well, I'm sorry, there's one. Always with the commentator's curse. But Wraiths, 4 Wraiths should be able to take down 1 Goliath. Not with repairs though. And oh, but he's getting pulled into this location. I think he's gonna get sieged on. Yeah, there we go. And now the Wraiths have no one to stop them. The Wraiths are going to start taking down siege tanks. More Goliath production has to be made, and that cuts into the production of siege tanks. But I mean, Nightcat is slowly but surely reclaiming this position. Has 1-1 upgrades, but the 2-0 upgrades are superior for Insanity Spreader because of what we mentioned earlier, and is taking his 4th gas now. Nice play here from Insanity Spreader. Insanity Spreader looking to try to continue to contest this region, is laying mines so that there's no free movement from Nightcat, but Nightcat is aware of it, is going to actually take down, lose 2 Goliaths to those mines. Siege tanks are able to use their pom-pom attack, or their unsieged attack, to continuously take down mines as they A-move, simply because of the rate at which they fire and the range that they have relative to the mine's range of activation. SCVs being transferred over here, 4th gas being added, and Insanity Spreader, I mean, he's on 4 base, but has still a very low worker count for the bases that are needed. I would like to see possibly some SCVs being added from both players, actually. I mean, maybe not so much Nightcat, he is stuck on 1 base for now. He is trying to add that second base right now. But Insanity Spreader, you can see in the gas float, I mean, he currently has 12 SCVs on gas. Well, no, he took them off the depleted one. He has 9 SCVs on gas out of the 39 that he has total, and some of those are building stuff. So yeah, definitely mineral income is being a bit of a bottleneck here. Nightcat is catching up in supply, so we still have a game on our hands. The Wraiths are losing efficacy because of the presence of Goliath, but now Cloak is going to be useful here. The Wraiths are going to focus on trying to take down these tanks ahead of a potential push from Insanity Spreader. Great play here. Nightcat needs to react, but I think maybe he used all of his comsat scanners. Could that be the explanation? 1 Goliath goes down, and yes, now more Goliaths are going to come in, but so many siege tanks have fallen already. And I think Insanity Spreader definitely has an opportunity to push in here. There's only 2 siege tanks here. It looks like no, not going to be the option here. He's going to redirect more forces here. I love this choice. Nightcat a little bit blind right now. He's not floating any buildings out here, so he's not aware of the situation here. And by the way, Insanity Spreader, listening to me from the past, is climbing up in resources. I'm sorry, in resource gatherers, SCVs. So yeah, this game is going to continue. A starport being added now for Nightcat. Second one, in fact. I wonder if it's going to be for dropships or for what is it going to be, because it's still mech upgrades coming in for Nightcat. And Insanity Spreader has +3 attack now against the 2-2 of Nightcat. So now both players are going to be more effective in siege tank versus siege tank engagements. Looks like Insanity Spreader is thinking of taking the 5th base now for themselves. And yeah, Nightcat going for ship weapons and ship plating. He is looking to do that Wraith switch now himself. Given the fact that Insanity Spreader does not have Goliaths, I think that this could be effective. I mean, there are only a couple here. Looks like more drops were attempted here, but maybe were thwarted. Possibly there were this. If this was a turret here, I think that might be a contributing factor. This one as well. So yeah, we've reached that kind of stalematey situation. Mines here, I like that choice from Insanity Spreader to kind of curb the expansion of Nightcat. And oh, it's going to be battle cruisers. Interesting choice. I honestly, I think, yeah, I think maybe battle. It's hard to say. I think that Wraiths might have been the better choice. They're more mobile. They therefore are able to clear out mineral lines a lot quicker. They're better at sniping SCVs, and they both don't fare all that great against Goliath. But the question is, the difference is that if you have a significant amount of battle cruisers before your enemy knows about it, the chances to do great damage are much higher. So, Wraiths now in significant number coming in. Oh, and of course, I forgot the more significant problem with this is the fact that your opponent already has Wraiths. So maybe I would have considered going for Wraith Valkyrie in this situation. I think that Wraith Valkyrie could have been very useful. Valkyries would whittle down your opponent's Wraith count, and then you could win with your superior Wraith count after that. Being able to siege uphill This map is such shit with tanks, Nightcat says. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. And Sandy Sparrow, welcome to TVT Life on old maps. And oh no, the battle cruisers fly right into the bait of the Wraiths, and yeah, that's GG. That was another great game. What can I say? The losers rounds are really delivering today. And let's see. Let's look at quickly at the score screen. Reset our music real quick. Yeah, Insanity Spreader getting it done and is going to be moving on in the losers round to losers round 3, where they will be facing the players that lost in the winners round. So TSC Mu has moved into the losers round, and so has Krazio. That will be our losers round matches for next week. And yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, so unfortunately, Nightcat kicked out of the tournament by Insanity Spreader, and before that, Gathers kicked out by Lines Prower. And that brings us to the end of this broadcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the games, and there'll be more coming in the next week. I'll be trying to catch up. The finals are due to be played sometime soon, and hopefully I will have more great SSCAIT Babes broadcasts for you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wonderful night, wherever it is, whatever it is you're doing. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, cheers. See you next time.